So 61 churches in the span of how many years?
It's gonna be 19 years. 19
19
years.
years.
We build the churches. Uh, we build them from scratch. So we purchase property like a down payment, make usually a down payment, and then after that we connect with a team from the U.S. that comes and builds it, and just basically we start building on Friday, and by Sunday we are having the first service in the building.
Wake up, sleepers, and welcome to the Christ and Coffee podcast. My name is Dr. Haig, and today we're going to learn about how God can answer a God-sized dream. Our guest today is Daniel Nunez of Kingdom Builders Ministry. Daniel had the dream to build 50 churches in his home country of Mexico. Today, he's on church number 61. You heard that correctly. From 0 to 60 churches. These churches have pastors, a building, and they all impact the local communities. When this podcast was recorded, Pastor Brad Baker was visiting from Ohio, who's a dear friend, and you get to see it in this conversation, how close they are. Brad was there to help build the first church. He also came back to build the 50th church, and right now he's building a summer camp with Daniel in honor of Brad's late sister, Natalie. Tune in to hear this remarkable testimony of how God could use us beyond our wildest expectations, which leads us to the verse of the week, which comes from Luke chapter 18, verse 27. The things which are impossible with men are possible with God. With that said, please grab a cup of coffee and enjoy this Christ-centered conversation. Hey, Pastor Daniel, it's so good to see you. Welcome to the Christ and Coffee podcast.
Thank you. So great to see you. Hi.
Important question. It seems like you have a great menu behind you, but how do you drink your coffee?
How do I drink my coffee? Right now is if I listen to a doctor, he said that I need to drink it decaf and just black, but sometimes I don't listen very well. But black is my favorite.
Yeah, that's the way to do it. You know, you're a true coffee lover when you drink it without the sugar or anything like that. Is this your personal coffee house you have behind you? It says Pastor Daniel's coffee bar. That's amazing.
Yes, well, but you have on this side, you have a lot of cups, coffee mugs from different parts of the world, where I have traveled to most of those places, but some of them people just travel and think about me and bring me a Starbucks coffee mug from their places. So I have one from the Philippines that a good friend of mine brought from there, and but yeah, I have this collection, and wherever I travel, if I have not been there, I get the cup, and then the sign was made from one of my friends when we like a housewarming gift for this house, and we had somebody say, "What can I, Nunez family or whatever?" I said, "No, just make a sign that says Pastor D's Coffee Bar."
Very, very great. No, that's amazing. And it seems like you've been to many parts of the world, according to the coffee collection I see over there. So it's quite amazing.
Yes,
So
yes.
you've planted so many churches in Mexico, but can you tell me about the history of Christianity in Mexico, like from your upbringing? Like what was it like?
History of Christianity. Well, I'm not that old, so I don't know the whole story.
Yeah. I know that, but just to get a sense
But
of the
yeah, I
landscape.
mean, it started with the Catholic Church being, evangelizing, which is more like, their doctrine. That's how it started, and then Christianity came from missionaries from the U.S. But it started with the Catholic Church. Like the natives have their own. We've heard of the pyramids and all that stuff, where that's what they worshipped. Sun and the moon, and they would sacrifice people and all that, animals. So now then Christianity came. I don't know, maybe 200 years ago or something like that, and Christians started coming to evangelizing and being just the evangelizing the world, and people becoming believers, and a lot of people lost their lives. So for because of the persecution here, and there's still some parts. I mean, most of the persecution comes from the Catholic Church. As far as, I mean, when I say persecution, it's not like in other countries, but it is like opposition. I would say more than persecution, it would be more opposition.
And what was your Christian upbringing? What did you grow up? Did you grow up in a Protestant home,
I
or
grew
did you?
up, well, it was crazy because my mom was Catholic. She never went to church. My dad was an atheist, actually belonged to the Communist Party here in Mexico, here in Tijuana. So I was not, was not in the picture for me, basically, until I became a believer. I went to a church to play basketball when I was about 18 or 19 years ago old, and I went to play basketball. My family against the church kids, my family's kids, my cousins, my brother, and we played against the church kids. And we were invited to come to church that evening on a Saturday for a youth event, youth service, and I accepted Jesus in that church 40 years ago.
Amazing. And what did you do right after that experience of coming to faith through this youth
After I
ministry?
became a believer, I, I, I wanted I, I wanted to serve God. I was just to assist, whatever, help in whatever, contribute financially or otherwise, and my time all the time I was helping. But a few years later, my wife and I, we were invited to be youth leaders, youth pastors for that church where I became a believer, and I was there for a while. Then the church went through a very bad split, and we ended up leaving that church with a lot of families. We started a new church. I wasn't the leader. I was a new believer, so somebody else was the leader, and I was just helping, and it was doing in homes, and then we actually planted a church as a group. We planted a church, and I got to build it because I have some building skills, and I got to lead it. I was asking my dad what I needed to do to build this church, and so he helped me. He gave me all the insights and all the advice. We built that church, and then we ended up leaving that church because I got a green card. I went to the States, and I was working there for a long time, and I got the call to be a pastor when I was working in San Diego and assisting in a church here in Tijuana. And from there, I just obeyed God to whatever He wanted me to do, and He 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 sent me to be a pastor in a community called El Niño in Tijuana. And after that, when I was pastoring there, 3 or 4 years into it, about 2005, that's when God gave me that vision to plant 50 churches in my lifetime. And we started in '06, Memorial Day weekend of 2006. We planted the first one, and now here we are at number 60. We have planted number 60 last year. Last year, in July, in Memorial Day weekend again, is going to be number 61. So I got a
Wow.
fresh start with after 60.
So 61 churches in the span of how many years?
It's gonna be 20 in 19 years. 19
19
years.
years. Amazing.
Hmm.
Um, and these are churches that they're not just like house church small groups here. We're talking about actual buildings.
Yeah. We built the churches. We build them from scratch. So we purchase property like a down payment, make usually a down payment, and then after that we connect with a team from the U.S. that comes and builds it, and just basically we start building on Friday, and by Sunday we are having the first service in the building. So we do all the framing. We do 1 or 2 days of prep work, and then we have everybody coming in and working. So it takes us 2.5 days, maybe 3 days to build a church.
Amazing. But everything is prepped, right? And there's like the master builder who's able to tell the
We always
volunteers
have
this is how
some,
you do
yeah.
that. And
Hmm.
How big are these churches? Are they like pretty small,
these
or are they...
churches are, the building is 24 by 40,
Okay.
24 by 40, so it has room for about 80 people. And the idea is that if they outgrow it, that means they can have finances and funds to, ways to, the means to make it bigger and all that. So for us, it's just a start. We drop in, we parachute into a community, and we start like that. And there's been different ways that we have started. Some of them we started by coming into a community with no members, just a pastor comes in, and we try to help him as much as we can with the parent church coming to help him at least for a little while. And sometimes we have uh, some church members, somebody that started already like a home group kind of thing, and they have 20, 30 people, and then we go from there and we start the church with some people there already.
So how do you fill these churches with leadership? Like what qualities of a church leader do you look for? What do you have a methodology for spotting leadership within these churches?
Yes. Well, the first one is, I mean, it's pretty simple. Actually, I look for faithful people. So pastors send them. The idea is that when they plant a church, they will send out their best men, to plant a church, and the idea is that they can, like I said, a parent church that's going to send somebody out, a daughter church that will have a pastor. So the idea is that they send their best men. So that means somebody that is faithful, that is accountable, that is a leader. Of course, the people are following him, and also that they're tithing, which is giving financially to the church. We have noticed that. I mean, it's not like it's a given. Supposedly, that's what they're supposed to be
It's
doing. But
supposed, yeah.
sometimes they're not. So we have found out that the ones that were not giving. Number one, why were they sent? And number two, they don't believe in that, so they don't really raise funds because they think that this is not right. Because they felt the way they felt when they were asked. And so now we made it into a requisite. Like when we do the Discovery Center, which you're familiar with, we are we are always ask that part, that financial piece. We always ask about that, and basically we tell the pastors if they're not tithing or they're not giving to the church, we don't want them in the Discovery Center because we don't want to be the ones to tell them that they're supposed to be giving.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
for those who don't know what the Discovery Center is, it's a church planting network through the Cent Network, and it evaluates church planters, equips them with resources, it gives an assessment for church planting, it assesses character, assesses capabilities, assesses strengths, like they do strength finders, they do a bunch of other things like primal questions, just to name a few, and then people like you who have experience equipping church planners and leaders are part of the staff to help facilitate and guide. So I was part of that last summer, and that's how we connected. So let's but it's great to kind of like, if you're going to be, I mean, there's the spiritual aspect of the tithe, but there's also like the practical aspect of, if you're invested in this company, you should be a main investor too. Like there's also that secular
Yes.
aspect to.
Okay. Yeah.
Am I all into financially? Is my
Exactly.
is this something that I feel like God's going to be behind? So I think that's a great way to assess, and it also reveals a lot about character through generosity. But you look for character, capability, and kind of the like approval of the mother church sending the person too. So there's a sense of like confirmation from the sending church that this guy is our best. So, and then you do the evaluations through these networks to fill these churches that you actually built. Well, let's go back to that moment. You said you had a profound moment that launched you to make 50 churches, and you surpassed it already by 11 or almost 11. So what happened 19 years ago that you had the desire to kind of go, let me build 60 churches? Because I don't think most people could even build one church. I think that's a bit crazy.
Yeah, so about 5 years into pastoring the community church in El Nino, I ended up I was in a men's conference, and the pastor that was preaching said, "Write something on a piece of paper that you want to do with your life, but it has to be so big that you need God's help for. You can do it on your own." And that's when I wrote on a piece of paper and I just plant 50 churches in my lifetime. Uh, I mean, before that, I every empty lot that I saw, I would say, "Hey, I want to plant a church here. I want to plant a church here." So it was something in there in my DNA already. But when we started doing this, I'm like, that was in Memorial Day of 2000, I mean, in November of 2005, and I wrote down on a piece of paper that I wanted to plant 50 churches in my lifetime, and that's how by no, Memorial Day weekend we were already building church number one. So that's how I got it. That's just in my heart, the desire to just follow God and what He wants me to do.
That's amazing. And you've surpassed it already, and you're going to keep going until, right? It's not going to stop at 61
Well,
or
yeah, well, we actually have four churches planned for this year. One in Mexicali, which is about 3 hours from Tijuana. One in Sinaloa, which is like down the coast, all the way down to about a thousand miles from here. So sometimes we drive, sometimes we fly, but we're gonna do one there this year. Another one in Rosarito, and then the one we're going to be doing here in Tijuana. So there are only one church in Tijuana and the rest in different parts, which is part of my story, how God has taken us to different places. Just me thinking, I'm going to stay here in Tijuana. I'm going to stay in El Nino, in my local church, my community. And turned out that God wanted me to go to different places, and I'm going to different parts of Baja. Like I said, Mexicali, Rosarito, Tecate, so four different cities in Baja out of the five. So we're still looking for six cities in Baja. So we still have two to go in Baja. But also we are doing stuff in different countries like Nicaragua, Honduras, Cuba, and Guatemala. And wherever God is opening doors, we have somebody in Costa Rica that we want to help as well. So as God keeps opening doors, we just go through them when He gives us the green light.
that's amazing. So it's really about just obedience and opportunity and just trusting the process of spiritual character and just being obedient and and God could answer these prayers that are beyond our imagination. So that's quite remarkable. Um, are a lot of these churches coming like they look the same, or are they different, uniquely built? Do they have like the
No,
same
there.
name, the same brand?
Well, the no, the every church has a different name. Like the mother church, the new name is Comunidad Conexión, like community connection community. But I mean, when we build them, they all look the same. So some of them you can still see the original church. Most of them you can still see the original, but some of them have been added on and or turned down and built a new one around it. So that's the idea that at least we give them a head start. But if I show you pictures of all of them, they're probably all going to be the same. In other parts of the country, we have to do it differently. Like we don't do it on a 3 day weekend. We do it more with blocks and concrete and all that. So that's different in the other. There's other places. We in Tijuana, that's what works. Just framing and shingles and all that stuff. Plywood.
Great, great. And what about um what about your relationships with the churches in America? Because it seems like a lot of these churches are built through volunteers with
Hmm.
American churches. So how does that work?
Yeah. So for we have built relationships with about, I don't know, I'm gonna say close to 100 churches in the U.S. that want to come and do missions. Uh, they come and do build, whether it's build a house or have VBS. In this case, we have a team here that's going to come next week. Part of the team is here. My friend Brad is here, Brad Baker. But the rest of the week and his family, they're going to get here on Monday, and we're going to start building a camp. So my goal is that we keep looking for needs and opportunities for the teams to come and build. I mean, they can they can come and build a house anytime, any time of the year. And I mean, there's a big need. So we always do that. So we have built 800 homes for families. So that's all through teams of American churches that come and volunteer, and they put together a team. They charge them whatever, they raise money for that. They ask the team. I mean, it's just a regular mission trip. So we actually, when people say we're going to go to Mexico and build a camp, or we build a church, or we're going to build, we have all the leaders here that will lead the construction, and also we get all the materials here, and we have a dorm facility in El Nino that we can host 150 missionaries, and then we have the kitchen. And I can promise you, if you're listening to this, you wanna taste some good Mexican food, come and do a mission trip with us.
That's great. And because I know pastors are listening to this right now, if they want to take their team or join a team to partner with you guys, where do they go? Do they go to Kingdom Builders?
Yeah, you can start with Kingdom Builders Ministry, kbmbaja.org. Is our website, KBM Baja, the Kingdom Builders Ministry Baja, and then .org, and that's our website. And yeah, also you can feel free to give me my phone number, and they can always call me and talk about it. But the most important thing that we're building here is relationships.
Yeah. And
we started relationships with this family from Ohio, sitting next to me here, my friend Brad, and that was about 25 years ago, maybe, I don't know, at least 22 or 23.
Does Brad want to join the podcast real quick?
So the earphones are not working, so I'm going to take them off.
Hey, Brad. Welcome to the Christ and Coffee podcast.
Thanks. How are you doing?
Good. I think this will be cool to kind of get your perspective on how does it work from the American perspective, because one of the main things of this podcast is connecting Christians one coffee hour conversation at a time, kind of build the church through relationships and opportunities to serve. And this is a beautiful example of kind of the network you have. So how has it been for you to kind of work with Daniel and bring your team from Ohio?
Only the good stuff.
Well, step one, you have to love coffee, or you can't hang out with this guy. So, I thought I liked coffee, but I don't think anybody in the world likes coffee as much as this guy. As you can see, you thought he owned a coffee shop here.
I thought you were at a coffee shop, not his home.
That's great stuff. I love it. It was 20 plus years ago, we were listening to K-Love Radio at the time, which I think is a national radio. We're from Ohio. And there was a call about a ministry that was building houses in Baja. And I'd always been a goal of mine. And I felt like the Lord was calling me at some point to do some missions work. And so I was a contractor at the time, and that really tugged on my heartstrings. It was a deal that with the Newsboys were taking like huge groups of kids, and they needed contractors to help build these houses. And they were building like 25 houses in a weekend. And it was last minute, and we couldn't answer that call. I couldn't get people together to do it. But it really made me interested and want to travel to Baja. I just felt the Lord calling me to travel and do a build. So our family got together, 17 of us, and we got together and we came down the day after Christmas that first year, and we built 2 houses. And within that ministry's connection, I believe, were you a translator for them? Mm-hmm. Pastor Daniel was translating English, Spanish and English, and we met him, and he shared his vision about wanting to build churches. And our family was like, wow, that's awesome. This guy, we just made like an instant connection. I don't know how well you know Pastor Daniel, but it only takes about 5 minutes to realize that he's the kind of guy that you want to hang out with.
100%. Yeah, spirit to spirit.
Quickly, I was hoping he would be my friend. I wanted to be his friend, but I didn't know if he would be my friend or not. But we told him we wanted to help him do that. So we started making plans, and we were actually super blessed to build church number 1. And we came for church number 50, which was really awesome. So we bookended his, the Lord tends to work in ways where he exceeds whatever. If you have the vision in the heart, he usually goes above and beyond. So we're past 50 now, but we were super blessed to just be a part of the ministry, to build this relationship. And we come from Ohio, so its logistics are a little tougher. A lot of groups come from Southern California, so they just drive down for the weekend. We are here in advance, my wife and I, because we have a group of 42 people flying from Ohio next Monday to build the first building at a kids camp. Actually, Pastor Daniel is helping us facilitate the first bunkhouse at a kids camp, so we're really excited about that. But logistically, they make it super easy. They have a great team of contractors here that they get the lumber prepped for you. Even if you don't have a crew of knowledgeable builders, you can bring a whole group of people that have never swung a hammer. And after 3 days, you're going to look at it and go, wow, we did that somehow. And it's because he's got a great team of local contractors that walk you through the step. They can have a group of kindergartners build a house. There's no age limit. There's no, they'll work with anyone, and they're super patient. And the drywall finishing work might not be as pretty as you would hope. We've seen kids use their hands as drywall knives instead of, they're just hands. All kinds of crazy stuff. But it's just such a wonderful ministry. Pastor Daniel and his family have become like my family. And I get a little emotional about it because they've just done so much for us from a friendship standpoint, a spiritual leadership standpoint. And even though he's old enough to be my dad, I consider him a brother. No, he's not. He's only about 10 years older than me. But it's just, I can't say enough wonderful things about what happens here. And it's changed my entire family's life immensely for the greater, just the greater goodness of the kingdom of the Lord.
That's amazing, because I do realize that a lot of these short-term missions trips, it really benefits those who are sent, and then they get empowered to go back and serve. And then there's also the tangible, like, we actually built this in a short period of time. I remember doing a Habitat for Humanity spring break trip in college, and I had no idea how to use any power tools or anything, but like just having one person who knew what to do made us get the job done. So I could vouch for, like, if you have just the right leadership. And
yeah, it takes great leaders and great instructors to take a group of folks that have no skills. It takes a lot of patience as well.
Yeah.
I came from a contracting background, so I can understand. I don't think I would have the patience to do that every day. And Pastor Daniel and his crew very patiently walk folks through the process, and it becomes a reciprocal experience for everyone. Pastor Daniel, I don't think he's ever met someone that didn't become his friend. Which is a testament to just his level of leadership and patience and kindness.
Yeah, and I love how the Lord has used your contracting backgrounds to do ministry. And I think sometimes people think like they may be second career ministers, or they don't see the value of their work. And there's always a way God will use your skills to build his kingdom, whether it's spiritually or physically or both, because they're connected. And what I love this is also very poetic that you're here at the same time of this interview, because of the first and 50. It's kind of really very sentimental. I'm glad we're capturing this for the internet to be there. Yeah, I mean, it's also like a very spiritual Christian kingdom building. Like, Jesus was a carpenter, and we may not know what to do, but if we're just obedient to him, we'll end up building his kingdom somehow. Even though we don't feel qualified or anything, but if you just like shut up and listen to Jesus, we'll build his kingdom.
I think one of the things that you don't realize until you make the trip here, even if you're from the West Coast, I've made a lot of friends with a lot of the friends of Pastor Daniel here locally, just from all the years we've done builds together with California Ministries, and made some great friends. But I think what people don't realize here is these churches are not what you would think of as a church in the States. They're smaller buildings. They're more reminiscent of a small home, or if you're wealthy, a giant shed in some ways. And they put these in communities all over because in Tijuana or in the greater area here in Mexico, the communities are very family oriented. They're very locally oriented. Not a lot of them always have the means to travel to go to church somewhere, whether it's just because they use public transportation or they don't have a car or they just like to stay in their community. We had this grand idea before we realized all of this, that how are they building these giant churches? Why do they need all these churches? And they're, when I tell my friends, especially like non-believers, I equate it to, this is like a community center. They use these facilities to minister the gospel through feeding children, through having quinceañeras, through having, services for family members that have passed, and not just for the people that are members of the church only. They use these buildings to really make a positive impact on the community, and they share the love of Christ through service, not through just ministry or preaching. Which I think when you talk to a lot of folks in the States that are maybe jaded by, church organizations in general, they look at it as money and power and abuse of all of those things, which happens a lot. But here, it's so much more about just the people in the communities and loving them, which naturally leads those people to ask, like, why are you different? Why is this place different? I want to be a part of this. And it's just a great way to minister to folks that maybe you're apprehensive about just going to church.
That's amazing. So yeah, they become centers for the community, and they're meant to serve. It's so crazy that you have to clarify this church is meant to serve the local community. Just like the American mindset that we have to make that disclaimer. It's wild.
Back to the basics.
Exactly. Pastor Daniel, how has it been with your projects outside of Mexico? Is there the different countries with Cuba, Nicaragua? Is it the same kind of blueprint, or you have to pivot from city to city, be flexible on?
Yeah, that the blueprint is only good in Baja. After Baja, different states or even different countries. We have built some in Mexico. We have not built churches outside of Mexico. But my involvement in that is that I'm training, like doing the same stuff, like Discovery Center again, going there to train the pastors and then building the relationships. And we're at a point now on the relationship with one of the Nicaraguan pastors that he has come twice here. We have gone twice, and now they're going to be here at the end of May to build that church, because they already built a relationship with that church that's coming to build. So I'm connecting all the dots. So I invited them to come, and they're going to be here. At the end of June, I'm going to go back, and teach like a couples retreat, my wife and I. And after that, we are going to be hopefully between now and the end of the year, getting ready to plant a church. Actually build it in Nicaragua, in Managua.
Amazing.
So I mean, that's the process. Just started last year at the beginning of the year, and then it has gone to now we're planting a church in Nicaragua. So I mean, my goal is, because the new vision is to plant 500 churches. So for me to get 500 churches, I think I need to find somebody like Cesar Menocal, which is the pastor in Managua, that he has this vision and he can plant 50 churches. And then I plant somebody in Sinaloa that wants to plant 50 churches. So I find either 10 people that want to do 50 or 50 people that want to do 10, and that'll be my 500.
Multiplication right there. That's amazing. But it's all about leadership. I mean, focusing on the quality of the leader and the spiritual flow of it versus just, we're not just building buildings here. We're building a spiritual building, and the building helps with with being a presence, and it's extremely vital. And it's amazing that it's very poetic too. You're the first church, Brad, and the 50th church. It's amazing. Did you think when you heard this vision, when you first started the first church, did you think it was going to happen, or you were kind of like, this guy is a little cuckoo for thinking that he could do this?
I tell you what.
A lot of people do.
I'm telling you that I don't think that's true at all. From the moment that we met him, we knew that he had the determination. And it wasn't coming from a place of look at me, I want to do this so that I look good. It was coming from a place of this area needs this, the community needs it. I'm called to do this, and I just really need help. Even though we're a few thousand miles away, we instantly just felt like, man, this is doable. My brother-in-law, and a lot of family are also contractors or have been at a time or another. So it just was a natural fit for us to come and do this. We don't come as much as we'd like to because it's the travel. If we were in Southern California, I'm sure we'd be here a lot more. But there's been years where we've come 3 or 4 times. There's been years where we've only made it once, but every year for the past, was it close to 20 years, we've tried to figure out a way to help do something to further the mission here. And I don't think if you meet him again for more than a minute or two, we're both crazy, but not in a way where people wouldn't think that we could get it done. I think it's the opposite. I think they say, man, these guys are crazy enough to actually be able to do this stuff. And that's a good kind of crazy, I think, sometimes.
We need more good crazy in the world. Yeah.
Yeah.
How has your church responded? Like, you see the transformation from your church members from Ohio, just kind of having these opportunities to like, any testimonies there?
Yeah, it's really encompassed a few different churches. My brother-in-law and my late sister were pastors of a church in Cincinnati area. When they started their church, they instantly just adopted a missions mindset. Like, instead of a midweek Wednesday service, their midweek service is going under the bridges in Cincinnati and making sure people have coats and food and clothes. And that's they've always been centered around service, acts of service, and helping the community. They're in a slightly probably poorer community of the area, and there's always a great need there for basic things like food and clothing and shelter. And that's been their ministry, very similar to how what Pastor Daniel's ministry is here. And then our church, which I've been a part of since we were, like in high school, also over the years has just done tremendous different things. One year we built a giant house for a pastor, and his name is Pastor Morrow. We came here to Tijuana and did a 10-day build on a very large, like a 2-story home. He had children. He was fortunate to have a nice piece of land already, and we built a home like 1,500 square feet, 2-story home with a bathroom and a kitchen and a laundry room. We did that in like a 10-day period, which was pretty incredible. One of those crazy things that you probably shouldn't be able to do. And that the connection there has just been great. Every year we come back, we go to his house for tacos. He makes us, the whole group, carne asada tacos. So we'll have next Thursday, we'll have 42 people at his house for tacos and fellowship. And just one of those lifelong connections that, he's always grateful for what we did. But that project did a lot for us as well. And it's just really great to see him thriving, his family thriving, and continue to be a part of ministry and helping folks in Tijuana.
Yeah. When it comes to building houses or churches or camps, is there less red tape in Mexico to get this done? Like, if this was in America or this like in the state of California, like, it'd be impossible to do this, right? Or
there's little to no red tape, which is one of the things we love. That home, there was no permits pulled. There was, I originally drew the blueprints on a napkin. We sat at my dining room table one day in Ohio. Pastor Daniel has traveled to Ohio to be a part of our family and ministry for most of this period of time. But we just sat down in my kitchen one day and drew this thing up and turned it into reality, which is not possible to do generally. And so, the only red tape is every once in a while you might get a crooked police officer or building inspector that tries to extort you for some money so that they don't go tell on you or something like that. We've always got a couple extra $20 bills on hand just to make sure that things go smoothly.
Yeah. And you're building a camp right now. Did I hear that correctly?
Yeah. So my sister passed away abruptly last fall
my condolences.
of a brain aneurysm. And she was 38, and her husband pastored that church I was telling you about earlier, a Love City Church in Norwood, Ohio. they ran a kids camp in Cincinnati, and it was a big part of their ministry, and it was growing every year, and it's still growing. It'll still continue on with a great team of people. So this year, Pastor Daniel, we had been talking for a long time about the idea of doing stuff with kids in a camp and stuff. And they were able to secure a property, and there's a dining hall getting built on it right now. And our group is coming to build the first bunkhouse of hopefully 8 or 9 bunkhouses, and turn this into a place for kids to come and have some fun and get embraced by folks that'll share the goodness of God with them in a loving way, and feed them, and just a great time. I went to camp as a kid, and I have fond memories of that. So this project is going to be named after the camp, Camp Agape, that my sister and brother-in-law started, and it's just my whole family's going to be here. My mom and dad and my siblings, and it's pretty emotional still. We just lost her recently, so but to tell you the level of friendship that we have with Pastor Daniel, he jumped on a plane and flew right to Ohio the moment he found out what was going on, and his whole family, and they came and they stood by us, and they just loved on us, and that's why we're like brothers. So we're excited to be here for this week. And it'll be emotional, but it'll be fun. It'll be a great time. And it'll just be a great honor to someone that has been a part of this ministry. My sister has been a part of this ministry for a long time. And it's just showing good honor to the things that she's done for the kingdom.
What's your sister's name again?
Natalie,
in an Agape camp. What an honor to continue the mission. Yeah, my deepest condolences, but this is a wonderful way to do camp. And is the camp going to be available for like the local, like the whole country, or will it be for the region?
Yes.
Or
No, it'll be available for even missions teams that come and stay there, for kids camps, for youth camps, for men's couples, whatever. And it's in a beautiful area. Hopefully you can come down, and we'll get some tacos and I'll show you the camp. But it's a beautiful view, and Brad has not seen the property itself, but he's been in the area because there used to be a kind of hospice that we used to minister to, and it's in that area. So it's up on the hill overlooking a big part of the city.
amazing. You just said tacos and coffee. I'll be there in a heartbeat.
Yes.
Final question for you guys. Let me start with you, Brad. If you had one message to tell to the church, what would it be?
You mean tell to the church in the States?
Yeah,
is
in
this
the
target
States.
audience, or? I would say put aside the fear, put aside what you hear on TV, travel advisories, all those things, because a lot of that in the media is obviously hyped up a little bit. We've been coming here for years and years, and we raised our children coming here, and it's been a wonderful and safe and beautiful thing to see and do here. There's good to be done everywhere. There's plenty that needs to be done in the States, but we just found our place here, and it's if you're fortunate enough to be close in Southern California, you can bring your family down for a weekend. And we always used to call it a vacation with a purpose. You're going to have a great time. You're going to be super blessed. You're going to be a blessing. You're going to eat some incredible tacos. Even if you're from Southern California, if you haven't had a taco stand in Tijuana, you're missing out for sure. The food is a great experience. The people are so kind and loving. There's just really no downside to, even if you're not called to be a missionary, there's no downside to come in and serving and just learning something new about, another ministry, another culture, a group of folks that just will love on you and care about you. You'll leave wanting to come back the next weekend for sure.
Amazing. Pastor Dan, if you're one message to share with the church, whether it's in Mexico or America, or one message to Mexico, one message to Americans,
Okay, for the American church, I would say just go, just obey, the Great Commission, go. So come and serve in Mexico, and we'll make it as easy as as possible for you guys to serve. So there's great opportunities, and so just come and like. But I can put it better than Brad. there's nothing going on here. The news are crazy. I have to answer that question every week. I was saying to say that we hear the news like, I don't know, the border is the same, everything is the same. So honestly, just come and serve, and just do a scouting trip. Come on a weekday, and pastor and a couple of leaders, missions pastors, and I'll be happy to wherever you're hearing from, even if you're coming Ohio, they come from to San Diego, and we pick them up and we bring them down. The whole team, Brad, of course, and his wife, but when the whole team comes here, and we have teams from all other the different states, and they just fly to San Diego, and we'll be happy to pick you up and bring you here. So just do a scouting trip, get some tacos, like I said.
There's no excuses. It's super easy. They make it as easy as possible. I've been all over the world and been blessed to do some missions work, and there is not an easier trip to take than this trip. They just been doing it so long. They know what to do, and they make it very seamless and easy.
Yeah. And for the Mexico church or Latin America church, just keep at it. Just keep doing what God called you to do, and God is faithful. And one of my sayings, I have two. One is just do for one what you wish you can do for everyone, which actually came from Andy Stanley's sermon. And just do for one what you wish you can do for everyone. So one house at a time. One and the same thing for the church. Just God will provide. That's what I say. God will provide, and just be aware of the connections, and just raising funds. And more than raising funds is building relationships. So just build relationships with people, whether they're American. I'm talking to the Mexican church. So build relationships, and just love them. And that the other stuff comes naturally, and if it doesn't, you're doing the right thing. So just love people.
Well said. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in to the end of this Christ and Coffee podcast. Remember to stay caffeinated, my friends. If you'd like to learn more about Kingdom Builders Ministry, the links will be provided below. Have a great week, and see you next week. God bless.